Rick Webb.
I'm here.
Vice President Herbert Washington.
I'm here.
Ben Stewart.
I'm here.
You have the fellow present. Also, do we have General Manager Kim Figo joining us via Zoom?
Yes, I'm here.
Kim.
Hey, Kim.
Director.
Hi.
Is absent at this time. As the Director of Administration, my name is Shirley Kim, and also the Board Secretary here at RCSD. Do we have Legal Counsel John Comar via Zoom? No, it does not look like Mr. Comar was able to join us, and we're anticipating now, so he will not be with us this evening.
Thank you very much, Sherry. I'm going to move to the Pledge of Allegiance. The Vice President, it's not way right now, Vice President. All right. Have everyone please rise. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I always do.
All right. Thank you. Can I get approval of the agenda?
Approval, we're doing this together.
Motion made by Director Webb. Do I have a second? Second. Second made by the Vice President for Education. All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. At this time, I'm going to open the floor to public comments and dispense with the reading. If anybody in the public would like to address the board, now would be the time.
I would like to make a public comment. I had something prepared and I can't find it, but that's okay. I want to first by stating that I am speaking as a private citizen and not as a member of the board of directors. What I'm about to say is personal. I want to start off by saying that if it were not for the grace of God and His love, I would not be here this evening. On this June 8th, I was taken to the emergency room and I was admitted to the hospital for 13 days. During that stay in the hospital, it was discovered that I had a blood clot in my lung and that I also had respiratory issues and kidney issues. But going to the hospital turned out to be a blessing in disguise. And that blessing was because the doctors found 2 ticking time bombs inside of me. One, they found out that I had a staph blood infection. 2, they also found out that I had a aortic stenosis, which I need to have my valve replaced in the near future. Both of these conditions, unchecked and untreated, would have ended up killing me for sure in the very near future. So I thank God for being in the hospital to have these discovered and shown so they can be treated. God performed many, many miracles on me here in the last couple of weeks. And a lot of them I know about that are in fact miracles from God. And I'm sure there are miracles that God performed that I don't even know about. And I just wanted to share that. But I also want to take this time to thank the board for their prayers of support and staff for their prayers and support. But I also want to thank Kim, Sherry, Leanna, and John for their kind words in reaching out to me and gain support. You'll never know how much it meant to me and how much it lifted me up to hear the words of encouragement from everybody. I want to especially thank Byron. Byron, when you came to the hospital to visit me and pray for me, words cannot describe how much that did to me. And it really touched my heart, and I'll never forget it. I still have a ways to go on the recovery, but I am happy to be here. I wanted to be here tonight because I needed to be here to feel like it's just one more step on the road to recovery. And I'm looking forward to getting back to work, serving the community of Roseman here on this board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brady. All right. I'm going to close public comments. Let's see anybody else. Okay. Closing public comments. Now time for voluntary public roll call via teleconference. If any member of the public on the teleconference, video conference wishes to identify themselves as a present in this meeting, please do so with the record and minutes. Would the member of the audience want to identify themselves being here? I know Ryan's here. And back. Ryan? Okay, we have two Ryans. That's good. All right, welcome. Now we're gonna close voluntary public roll call. Consent calendar, CC1. Review of check voucher register date, June 3rd to June 16th. Payroll and June 4th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve CC1?
Motion to approve, sir.
Motion made by Director Webb, do I have a second? Second. Second made by Director Wood. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? CC1 passes. Minutes. M1, M2, M3, and 4, which are the Government Community Relations Committee meeting. The minutes from the
Recording
wastewater
in progress.
meeting and the regular board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve M1 to M4? So we'll, motion made by Vice President Washington, do I have a second? Second, Director Wood, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes, minutes, motion passes for minutes M1 through M4. New business, MB1, approval of fiscal year 2025 engagement letters with Ed Bailey for accounting services, transition services, and management analyst services. Presenter, Kim D'Amico.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the annual engagement letters, usually around the beginning of the fiscal year for our accountant services consultant. Ideally, they've been doing business with the district. They've been keeping us financially intact for the last 10 years plus. The amounts have been, there's 3 engagement letters for 3 different services. Are there any questions about the engagement letters themselves?
Seeing none.
Then I recommend approval of all 3 and authorizing the general manager to execute each.
Okay. We have a motion to approve NB1 as stated. Motion made by Director Wood, do you have a second?
Sorry.
Second, made by Director Webb. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. NB NB2, agreement with Bolt's Commercial Realty Advisors for appraisal services with the 3 surplus properties. Presenter, Kim Domingo.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the next step in disposing of surplus properties that the district identified on May 21st, 2025. Declared 3 properties that were purchased primarily for water rights acquisition. The parcel numbers are in the staff report. The next step is to conduct or to have an appraisal done for the 3 properties. We have a very qualified consultant to do the work, and it's for $3,500, and the staff recommends approval.
Motion to approve NB2. Motion made by Director Wood. Do I have a second? Second. Second made by Director Glennon. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Director reports, comments, future agenda items. It's quick one tonight. I will start with Director Glenn.
I just have, comments to if you're looking forward to, state work, I have them up there. Secondly, that God is sovereign. He overrules everything and stems to deal with God with us.
Okay. Director Wood.
I'm almost talk joke.
Okay. I understand. Vice President Washington.
I have nothing tonight.
Okay. And Director Webb.
I have 8 comments. First of all, the 4th of July is on folks. Be diligent, be safe. Remember, people are shooting fireworks and everything else. Stay heads up. But at the RMAC meeting the other night, something came up that I thought was worth sharing again. They were talking about if you're going on a trip and your car breaks down, a lot of people do not have water to keep themselves hydrated. So what I would encourage everybody, if you take 2 bottles, take 4, take 5, take 6, or whatever, because he said they have one incident where someone broke down and the tow truck to get to them was an hour and a half, 2 hours getting to them. So I would encourage everybody, even if you're driving into the San Fernando Valley or down into LA City or whatever, just think about that there. And that's one. And then number 2, if you alter your routes, this is just a safety thing. Because Google says go a different way, tell somebody you're going a different way in case you have an emergency so we know where to look for you to different. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, for mine, I first want to start off by apologizing for not making the emergency preparedness meeting on Monday. I had an emergency and I don't feel like I was prepared. And this is funny as that sounds, I'm being serious. So I look forward to the next meeting we have, and I have some topics to discuss now. And that's all I have. General Counsel John Comore is not there unless he popped in. Hearing not. General Manager Kim Domingo. I think you have to unmute, Kim.
Sorry about that. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm having a hard time hearing you guys. And I think I just got poor bandwidth where I'm at. But I have a couple of things. Well, first of all, I just want to welcome back Director Wood. I know he stated a lot of heartfelt thanks, and just a lot of prayers were going out for him. And so I just wanted to welcome him back, and I'm glad he's feeling better and up to attending the board meeting. I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One is a topic that we had in the water committee, and that is kind of water projections, where we're at, where we stand with what our current water production rights are, what our current our current carriover that we have, and kind of the assumptions that we're looking at as a committee, looking at, to kind of project out and see, whether or not we need to purchase additional production rights. So if you guys can still hear me, hopefully you can. I'd like to, if you could, Dave or Tom, can you give me control of the screen so I can share?
We've already given it, you should be able to share.
Okay. Okay, good. Here we go. Share that. Can you guys see that?
Nope. Right now, there we go.
Okay, we're probably going to have a little latency, so I apologize for that also. Again, because of the poor bandwidth. But anyway, I created a table. I was going to try to create a cool chart, but I don't know. I'm struggling with it. I don't know why. But anyway, I have a table that I don't know if you can see it, but up on the top, about the second row that you can see, there's the years, the populations in purple, the water consumption. What I used was the 2024 use year, water year, to determine what the consumption was per the population. That's what the water projections in the future are based on that ratio. Then I have an actual wells and AVEC split, and so I assume those same splits for the wells and AVEC. And also,
One second, Kim. Can you hold on 1 second, Kim?
Yeah.
Switch the shit.
We're trying to get you a full screen here, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That would be.
Okay, cool.
Can you see it now?
Apologize for that. You're good to go, Kevin. Yeah. That's it. We can see your screen well now, Kim, so we're good to go when you are, but we cannot hear you. You are currently muted.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
So this keeps zapping. It keeps hanging up and coming back on, and every time it hangs up and comes back on, it mutes me. So I apologize for that. But anyway, so the top row is the year. Purple line is the purple row is the population. Blue row, the light blue row is water consumption. Again, based on projections from the 2024 water year. Production right is what we have. That's the orange row. The kind of darker blue row is the carryover that we currently have, which is water that's stored in the ground that we haven't used. That was unused production right from previous years. And then we also have a few unused Federal Reserve rights and imported water return flows. I've left those values in there. And so the green row is what's available for use every year. So you can see that as far as the water mass is concerned, this green row is what we have to be able to pull out of the ground. And in 2024, we only pulled out about 2,500 acre feet. So, 2,400 acre feet, because we used some AVEC water. So what I did was I used the population projections from the California Department of Finance. And projected out a population, we started with that, in fact. And what I did is then adjusted it up to an adjustable increase in annual increase in population. And what I try to also show is this line right here. I'll highlight it in gray. That's the new homes number. So to try to get an idea of how many homes that looks like, based on 3.15 people per home, which is Department of Finance statistics. So by the end of fiscal year 2025, we're assuming we're going to have 57 new homes, and which would result in a water consumption of a little bit more than what we did this year. And then we carry over a new production right, which affects our carryover and then makes it available for use. So what we tried to do was just project that out. And I'm going to take this number out for a second and just show you that this green row never gets to zero until you get all the way out to 2050, which means if everything holds at a 1.1%, so about 50 to, starting in 2026, that's 75 homes per year that you're connecting up. What that means is that as it stands right now, all things considered equal and at the same rate, that you actually have enough water to supply the projected population increase all the way to 2049. This does not even include, I will emphasize, does not include what Ryan's doing at the wastewater plant. Are there any questions so far?
Hey, Mr. Jim, Rick Webb, I have a question for you. Your numbers there, are those numbers with the ones with the new adjusted numbers the state came out for per person per home? Or what numbers are you using for those calculations?
So that's a very good question, and the answer is no, it's not the new numbers, which means that water consumption, but when we start having to enforce water conservation down to the state mandates, assuming that there's kind of an initiative from the water purveyors that the outside irrigation use is not correctly calculated. But anyway, that aside, what that means is that if we're not assuming that at lower consumption, that this is actually a conservative estimate on top of what we've already assumed. Does that make sense?
Yes. And with that number there, plus what Ryan said he's doing at the plant there, we should be in pretty good shape even with the increased number that we have to account for those folks. Well, the number goes, yeah.
The available for use would actually go up.
Go up.
Yeah, and so it goes up by about 1,000 acre feet per year. Or maybe 900 acre feet per year. And that's every year you add that on, compound it over 25 years, you're talking another, this number just in essence goes up. The green row.
Yes.
This is just the water side and the current rights we have. So, one of the things that we've been considering is, there's some water available on the market. We are considering a 200 to 300 acre feet per year purchase, and I stuck it in 2026 for this upcoming fiscal year. I'm going to add it back in. And you see the new homes if we increase this, say, to 1.25 on the growth, now you're talking 80 to 90 homes a year. So, there's concern that we hear of developers coming in with, these huge tracts. And even if we have accelerated growth, which, we've been hearing for a long time, but let's say we do, and we decide we're going to make a purchase of 300 acre feet per year this year, which, at the current rate, it's probably about $3 million to purchase that amount of water. You're still good out till 2050. I mean, you've actually have enough to take you a few more years after that. And again, that's not even including what Ryan's doing at the plant.
I have a question, this Director Wood.
Yes.
I'm a little confused on this when saying we have enough to go to 2050. But are we not going to require new home builders to secure their own water before we give them a will serve letter?
Yes. So that production right that we have currently, that includes excess right that we're holding to accommodate new construction. So we're going to get paid back that production right as we take on new homes. So basically, this is a no out of pocket. In fact, it's revenue going in because we're recouping production rights back in. We either require them to get their own water, bring it in, or we have a reserve of availability that we can sell. We sell it at, just FYI, we sell it at 13,000 an acre feet. So if we were going to get an additional 300 acre feet per year, that'd really be in anticipation of having it available for sale and recouping those costs.
Because the whole goal when we started this in purchasing water rights ourselves was to make sure that we had enough water in the bank that even if the current community started using more water, putting in more landscaping, things of that nature, that we wouldn't end up running short. And I'm hoping that if somebody's going to come in and put in a tract of 300 homes, that we really look at how much water they're going to need and keep something in place to safeguard our reserves to where they can last past 2050.
Yeah. So if you want to know, kind of your safety net right now, Director Wood, if you look at that number, 10,000 acre feet, 10,000 acre feet in available for use, and you're currently using 2,500, basically, really 2,400 because we use some AVEC water. You're about you've got about a 4-year cushion there where if you did. You have a 4-year cushion. I'll just leave it at that. That is if all of a sudden everybody said nobody can pump any more water. You have a 4-year cushion, which obviously that's already been litigated. We have that right every year to pump 2,136 acre feet, plus the unused Federal Reserve rights and imported water return flows.
Are we going to require that new homes being put in Roseman have a certain type of landscaping to make sure that they stay in a water conservation state?
So new homes, as they're sold, as they're approved and finalized, they have to follow what's called I call it the California Green Code, but it's basically the building code related to conservation, and that's energy conservation, that's water conservation, that's all basically
Net zero.
a move, yeah, exactly, a move towards sustainability, absolutely. And that's a requirement for all new homes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I just wanted to share that because I know there's been a lot of questions about that, this aspect, and it's just trying to strategize what's the best approach. I'll just say this, the board and Steve and whoever else was involved in setting yourselves up for the future did an outstanding job. So you should consider yourselves doing, give yourselves a real a pat on the back, because I look at this and I say you really don't have to worry about water for a long time.
Kim, I got a question. It's President Stewart. I hate calling myself that. My question is, I see that we're buying AVEC water. Is that for blending purposes, or why are we buying AVEC water? And then I have another question after that.
Okay, the AVEC water is bought because there are times that we need to take a well down, and so we need supplemental. So one of the things that we've been talking about in the water committee as well is another well to be able to access our groundwater in case one of those wells needs to be taken down for maintenance, or perhaps it goes out, needs to be pulled, for example. That's the reason why we budget in some AVEC water, not because we want to, but because we don't have another backup.
And then my next question on that is, I see the carryover, but don't we have to pay a charge if we don't use our carryover water within a 10-year span?
Yes. So that is true. So actually, if you think about it, actually buying additional water may be detrimental if you may lose it. It's the use it or lose it. And that, by the way, Director Stewart, that is being, I know that's a big discussion item right now, is all the storage agreements through the Water Master. I know that's a huge discussion item right now, and it's just trying to, I think the advisory committee is trying to work with the Water Master engineer to try to figure out, because these 10-year windows are coming up, and so they're going to come up soon, and somehow we got to figure out how this is all going to play out.
And I'm looking at our wells. It's looking roughly, we're assuming that for every service connection, we're assuming a half an acre foot a year.
0.43.
0.43. That's like a record from the classes I've taken and the people I've talked to. They're happy with like 0.75.
Wow. Yeah, I would say 2018. Maybe it was 2018. Maybe it was a little bit later. No, maybe 2021. 2021, the board actually approved a resolution that established the required water rights that needed to be acquired by new development. It's 0.43 per acre feet per year.
Any other questions? All right. Anything else for your general manager update, sir?
One more item. Let me stop sharing. I'm going to share again. This one. Tell me when you can see it.
Hey, we got it.
Okay, got it? Okay, so what this is a revenue expense and debt service coverage calculation that Brad did for us. And this was being discussed in the finance committee a little bit of a discussion in the sewer committee, but not as related to finance. But in the finance committee, we talked about a loan for the sludge removal project. And what this says is that the district, I'm just going to read the assumptions, the notes on the bottom. The revenue projections in 2025 and 2026 assume a 10.9% annual increase in wastewater service charges according to the 2021 rate study. All of the revenue sources assume no growth. Expenses assume a 4% annual increase. And then from 27 to 29, the revenue assumes no growth. Expense projections continue to assume a 4% annual increase. So you'll see starting in fiscal year 2027, it holds. I don't know if you can see that. It holds at 7.3 million on the service charges. So basically what Brad is in his estimation of basically credit worthiness, he said, we're not going to raise rates. Okay. Not saying that that's what's going to happen, but in his calculation, he's not raising rates. And then on top of that, operating expenses increase at 4%, and he continues that. So our costs are will continue to go up. And so you come up with a net revenue for debt service, and then he included what the projection would be for the debt payments starting in 2026, and then continuing. And he has 3 different scenarios. One's a 15-year, and the other one, 2 different scenarios. One's a 15-year private placement. The other one's a 10-year private placement. The other 2 are 15 and 10-year public offerings. He is recommending, and by the way, the debt service coverage, so the requirement is 1.25, the ratio between, and that's the ratio between the net revenue over the total debt service. So that number in 2026, 4.8 million divided by 2.3 million is 2.05. And the coverage requirement is 1.25. So you have plenty of room available, assuming you're not even raising rates and assuming that your operating expenses continue to rise. So the ask by the committee because I'm going to talk I have one more topic after this. Because we're probably not going to go with Waste Connections and Chiquita Canyon, we're looking at getting a loan and then doing this project and extending it over a period of time. And Brad is recommending the 10-year private placement. So I wanted to share that with you, get your input on what you think, because what we'd like to do is start having meetings with the debt team, the funding team, and then start to schedule some actions that the board may need to take in the future so that we can get the acquisition of funds to remove that sludge, get that rolling. Are there any questions?
I have a question in regards to this here. We get the loan. I know you were talking earlier in the presentation about a real estate company to sell surplus. That surplus came out of the water fund, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, now we have other properties that I believe that if they're not, what's the feasibility if, based on the amount of money here, that if there's money there, we have water to loan, store the money so we don't have to, we're paying ourselves back versus paying an interest on the outside money. Is that even possible?
That's a good question, and that alternative hasn't been considered. That's something we certainly can look at.
Okay, if you could, I'm just thinking we could pay ourselves back versus going out there paying somebody for money that we may have available to us. And if this real estate thing possibly goes well, we could generate some other money to just pay ourselves back. So if you could put an eye on that, I appreciate that one there.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Kim, I have a quick question. We talked about this before. And because this sludge mitigation is being done as part of the recycling process, and that the water side of the community is benefiting from the measures that we took at the treatment plant. So can some of this be paid for from the water side because they are receiving a benefit from the percolation of the recycled wastewater? And I don't know if that's possible, and I know we talked about it before, and I just wondered if you've got any more information on that.
I've had some discussions with Brad about that, and I will pass on that question to him. He's got some concerns about doing that, and without having him here to do that. By the way, Brad's going to be on a 2-month sabbatical, but we're in great hands with Devin and Sadie, so I'm confident we can get our questions answered. But I will absolutely ask that question.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions? I think you said you had one more thing?
I do have one more thing. So, and I don't need to share a screen here, so I'll stop sharing. So we received a letter from Waste Connections, and there is a clause in the development agreement that allows Waste Connections to opt out of the agreement, and they have sent us a letter opting out of the agreement. So there's no longer the agreements are no longer in place. So they're walking away, and unless we want to pursue any action to keep them in agreement, I presume that it would be the board's wishes to just let that go as well.
Do we have to bring that up as a voting thing for a record, or can we just nod our heads right now and just let it go?
You don't. All I'm asking for is input at this point, and if it's input that we want to pursue it, then, or we want to respond, then I will respond. If there's no input, then I will just take it and file it.
How about let it be, sir? They got a lot of issues more than worried about us, so let's just let them be and let them work out their own dynamics here. But I think you kind of know indirectly how the board members kind of feel about that project.
I had a feeling. And just one last thing, I'm sorry, fourth thing, and that is I will be out of the office starting after this meeting, and I'll be on vacation next week, and then the week of the 7th I will be working remotely, so I'll be back in the office if you want to see me on the 13th? Does that sound right? Yeah, I think the 14th, I'm sorry. No, yes, 14th. I'll be back in the office on the 14th.
Good.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Kim. Enjoy your vacation.
Enjoy your vacation, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Director of Administration, Sherry Tim.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mine will be short and sweet. We had a total of 57 dorm meters that were delivered to delinquent accounts this month. And we had a total of 841 accounts that were charged a late fee in June, for a total amount of penalties collected for the month of $5,276.07. And that is the end of my report, unless anyone has questions. Great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I do not see Director of Public Works Sean Howden, but I see Ryan Becker.
How is everybody this evening?
We're well, sir. You're doing live, sir. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. Okay, wrapping up year to date, for the treatment plant. First, I'd like to say thank you. I refer to them as the Department of Water and Finance. Sherry, our financial partners, and Mr. Domingo. You know, the past few years of running the plant, along with you guys, I've really been given the trust and the leeway to kind of do what I need to do, whether that's purchasing equipment, coagulants, polymers, even experimental stuff that I wanted to try to really make the plant a success. So I'm grateful to that. Year to date, the treatment plant has received 490 acre feet. Put that in perspective, that's about 159 million gallons that we brought in of a product that most people frankly would never think about, that they deem hazardous, worthless, or a nuisance. Due to that, we take pride in making that product into an asset. A 473 acre foot asset, or a 154 million gallon asset. We are on track to, and these are conservative numbers, we are on track to discharge treated effluent of more than 1,000 acre feet, or 320 million gallons this year. Currently, we're at 154 million gallons. That has been discharged and percolated into 2 of our percolation basins. We were fortunate enough to receive some equipment, so we no longer have to outsource ripping and maintaining the percolation ponds there. It gives us the opportunity to do it more frequently, better percolation, and in the long run, it'll pay for itself by not having to outsource that work. During the past few months, the operators have done all their normal maintenance routines that come with owning anything, right? Some things of note is we had a headworks pump sent out, repaired, and was placed back in service. We replaced some wiper blades on the clarifiers, as well as, like I said, all the other routine maintenance. We have been performing a lot of things to do with the blowers, maintaining the blowers, filter changes, all that necessary stuff. During the past time, the staff has identified some faulty floats within the facility that we've repaired and placed those pieces of equipment back in service. All that being said, the staff still continues to perform all their process control samples, made necessary to make informed, calculated decisions that have made the plant a successful operation. Within the past few years of running the plant, to date, we have never exceeded any of our effluent limits, and not necessarily not exceeded them, but we far exceed them. So we will do our best to keep that up in the future. What has been going on recently here at the plant is the development of a sludge drying bay, which I appreciate and applaud you guys for. Up until then, the sludge has been going out on the ground. And quarterly, I have it hauled off. Twice a year, I have it hauled off for beneficial reuse. But we have started work on the sludge drying bay. There's some pictures of it. There's been some complications with it, but we are moving forward. The contractors are moving forward. They've made some good progress on it. So,
What you'll say.
how you going? So that's kind of the update for the plant. I'll go over the pictures, some other, and I threw some pictures of the boys in there just to rub and clarify. Really
Nice.
get in, let them play with some water.
yeah.
Oh, don't be scared, take this to drink company.
Brian, you have any updated information on the grit chamber?
I do. As a matter of fact, we had AECOM. AECOM is an engineering firm that we use. I believe you're familiar with. They were out there today, as a matter of fact. Today, some timelines are being put in place. The plans are in preparation.
Great.
We're trying to chew apart one thing at a time, because at the end of the day, it does come down to dollars and cents. And there are a couple of things that we need to do, and with Mr. Domingo's help, we try to identify everything is hurtful. All of it needs to be certain things, not all of it, but there are certain things that all have to be fixed. But there are certain things that are more critical than others, and we're trying to pick apart one at a time. The solids handling is one that needs to be addressed.
Right.
So they're digging out a pad, they're excavating a pad. Here they have the rollers in it, trying to work for compaction.
And I apologize, I have to share these one at a time.
That's okay. And they may be out of order, it doesn't matter. It's just to give you guys kind of an update to see what you're getting for your money, where's it going. I didn't get it to Sherry until today, so she may not have had time. It's kind of my fault if they're not prepared. Grid's going along, screw press is going along, sludge bay is going along. Everything else is going great. A couple different things. Winter is a tough time for us. Treatment plants, there's one of the gentlemen, our new hire, Brian Suarez. I congratulate Brian Suarez. Brian came in with a grade 1 wastewater. Working at a green waste facility, not necessarily wastewater treatment. Taking green waste and producing it into something good. So he came here. In that time, Brian is a very valuable employee. He's gotten it studied, passed his grade 2. He's now doing on call, and he continues to keep progressing. He's a tremendous asset.
Awesome.
Hey Ryan, Yes, sir. don't get them that good, because when they get really good, you know how they do in the basketball. They want more money, they leave the team.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's something that we'll be talking about in-house earlier. I try to keep them good enough to where they stay. That's another gentleman, Sean Pimentel. Weekly, we go in and scrub the clarifiers. It's just about housekeeping. There's different avenues on it. You can say the growth help filter stuff out. Yeah, but it looks ugly in housekeeping.
Right.
And so just because it is a wastewater treatment plant doesn't mean it needs to be dirty.
Right.
That is them estimating the pad out, digging out. They've had to go down quite a bit deeper than what they originally planned. And ultimately they'll be bringing in some soil that will work. If the soil was there, it's just not viable to build on. So they've been doing that for the past 2 weeks. And if everything goes to plan, which it hasn't, they anticipate to be done in about a month and a half, 2 months. So that'll be good. Potholing, trying to find a water line.
Excuse me.
They got to dig down, tie into a 6-inch water line. So they've been out there working. I just wanted to show you some pictures of it, show you where your money's going, and I appreciate it. So, but the plant has been performing tremendously. Winter's a little bit difficult, and I'm grateful to Mr. Domingo, John Houghton, Sherry, that they've given me the trust and the leeway to make calculated and educated decisions that there is no guarantee about. And let me play with different things and see what works. So I'm really grateful for that. The plant is operating tremendously. It's a fantastic plant, even though we all experienced all the complications. Turned out you guys got a fantastic product.
Yeah.
Are there little hiccups that we need to address and change? Sure. But you guys got a fantastic product out there. And like I said, we are well on the way to produce over 1,000 acre feet of treated effluent, which is 300 and something odd million gallons. So thank you guys for all you do. And that's the update I have, unless there's any questions.
Yeah, I have a question. You talked a little bit about the winter months are challenging. During the summer months, do you notice substantial evaporation rates in your percolation ponds?
They are increased.
I'm wondering if it's anything like a swimming pool.
Very well the same. It is increased. What we are fortunate about is due through our deal with Watermaster, we are at a 10% loss. They calculated it in, they did their studies, we're at a 10%. So in summertime, we're making out. In wintertime, they get a little bit of the best of us, but it's a balancing act, and I promise you, you don't want to run the numbers to see if 10% is accurate or not. It's well worth being fair.
All right.
Ryan, the only thing I can say, I love your excitement, and I'm sure you share that with your staff, and that makes everybody excited about the whole thing, because it's not the subject, it's not the topic that you're gonna have at the dinner table, but it's probably one of the most important topics. And the fact that you can bring a life to it and put it in such a way that it's acceptable to talk about, and then you present it. I sincerely appreciate that. And then you give it, you give it an energy. You reference your love on one occasion. So thank you very much for that, for the care.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I want to kind of piggyback on that too. I've noticed your passion and dedication to that reclamation plan. I really appreciate that from you.
Well, thank you. And I try not to keep the staff too upbeat. I kind of tell them, if it's like a dog that you treat really well, the dog's real happy and just wants to play all the time. I try to keep them beat down a little bit so they're working.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Good presentation.
Okay. If there's nothing else for the good of the meeting, it's time for adjournment. Anybody? Okay, the meeting's adjourned at 6:57. Good night, everybody.
All right. Okay. I'll try to get it. In this program, in the office.
Yeah.
It's